Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be back here. I've been up in North Carolina and South Carolina camping for the better part of 6 weeks. I came back down for about a week or so in between there. But I had the opportunity to see all the beautiful foliage. So all of you that are up north, wow, I'm super jealous of you that I'm not seeing that today. But I'm enjoying all this Halloween decor in the background. And yes, I'm excited to learn how to do that for myself. Thank you, Nicole. So today we're going to talk about anxiety and stress and different techniques on how to relieve the symptoms of that. So one of my favorite neuroscientists and authors and healers is Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he says that he gets triggered all day long. And this is a man that's done an incredible amount of self-work, self-love, self-healing of his own, and he still gets triggered. So the question is, and he poses this in his classes, is how long do you want to stay there? So when you're triggered, when you're feeling stress, when you're feeling anxiety, when the body starts to clench up, when you feel it in your head, your throat, your chest, your stomach, your back, wherever you feel stress come through and the emotions attached to it, how long do you want to stay there? So today we're going to explore some techniques that are 5 minutes or less on bringing down that anxiety, bringing down that stress level, and bringing your body and your mind back into a place of homeostasis or balance. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And some of the techniques I'm going to show you are going to be based on Chinese acupressure. Well, let's say Chinese methodology of pressure points, certain pressure points that when placed on certain areas of the body will relieve stress, anxiety, and will also help the body heal. So some of these you might be a little skeptical about these, but I just ask you that if you check them out and before there's any, casting aside, because they may prove to be the most effective ones for you, or certainly ones that you might want to put into your little case of tricks on how to get out of anxiety and stress quickly. So the Chinese method is, as I mentioned, working with meridians and pressure points of those meridians to unlock a lot of energy that may be stuck or imbalanced, which will then bring your body back into balance in the mind as well. So common modern day titles for some of these methods are reflexology, acupressure, acupuncture, and massage. So we're going to have a couple of those techniques, and then some of the ones that you're probably already familiar with. But certainly at the end of the session, when we open it up, if you have any techniques of your own that have worked throughout the ages for you, please, if you feel comfortable sharing them with everyone, would love to hear from you. So without any further ado, let's get started on that. I've got my little notes here, so I want to keep in order. So the first thing is, whenever we're in a time of stress or anxiety, you want to rate your pressure, okay? You want to rate your feelings or rate the anxiety and the stress. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I'm a little anxious, 10 being, I'm off the charts anxious. I'm like way out there, okay? Or really stressed. And then in between there is where you want to rank where you're feeling at that moment. And the reason for rating, there's two. One is when you're trying these techniques, you can say, oh yeah, I was a 6, but now 2 minutes later, I feel like I'm down to a 3. And then if you continue the technique, then you can get down to a 1, but it helps for your own self-regulation. And 2, we all have a thing called, let's just say psychoanalysts, psychotherapists, the psychology world will oftentimes refer to our survival mechanisms, our subconscious mind, as our ego, okay? And however you want to title it, there is an aspect of all of us that doubts everything. Like, it's not proven, it doesn't work, kind of thing. So if you're rating it and you're actually following up with it in the beginning of your stress session or your session, you're saying, I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I'm a 7. And then you do the technique, then your ego cannot out intellectualize you, okay? Or your subconscious mind or whatever is that doubtful, I don't think it worked part of us that we all have, okay, cannot out intellectualize you. So therefore you can say this technique actually works for me, and then put that in your artillery of anti-stress, anti-anxiety techniques, okay? So always rating 0 or 1 to 10, 1 being mildly anxious, 10 being off the charts, and then somewhere in between there. And then after you've done the technique, you want to rate it again, okay? All right, so that's that. So the first one says, what we're aiming for with all these different techniques we're going to go over is a release of the happy chemicals in our body, the endorphins, the serotonin, the gamma, okay, the dopamine. We're looking for a release of that and a balancing, bringing our body out of a state of nervousness, anxiety, and stress, and into that place of calm, happy, feeling zen, okay? So when we do these techniques, that is what occurs, that those happy hormones get secreted and then distributed throughout our body and then create that place of peace, okay? So we want to focus in on that as a physical change, as well as the emotions, because all those chemicals help change the emotions and the physical body as well, okay? So the first one we're going to go over is breath work. And so, like, I think we all know when we're really stressed, catching the breath is one of the hardest things that you can possibly do. It's like, I don't have time to catch my breath. I have to deal with this now. So we might be in some kind of loop. We might be in just all-out anxiety. It's number 9 out of 10, and the thought of breathing is almost like off the charts, right? If you can, and it doesn't have to be the deepest breaths in the world, but the more that you can just stop for a moment and place your hands at heart center and breathe deep breaths, as deep as you can, the more easier it will get. And this is where we have to counteract that part of us that says the breath isn't going to work, it's not going to work, nothing's going to work, I'm freaking out, nothing's going to work, and just stop. You have to just stop, okay? Stop and breathe. So what we're going to learn today is a pranayama breath work. And so if anybody's feeling any anxiety right now, then please rate yourself 1 to 10. And you can write it down or keep it up here in your head. Writing it down is always good, because then we don't have that opportunity to have that doubtful part of ourselves go, oh no, you said 5 instead of 6, that type of thing. So writing it down is always a good idea. And what we're going to do is slow breaths. And this is, as I said, it's pranayama breathing. And it's a Sanskrit word from which means extend life energy. And I had to look that up because I was like, what does pranayama mean? So extend life energy. So we're extending the energy and the flow. And what we're doing with pranayama breathing is actually balancing the right and the left side of the brain. Okay. You can do this virtually anywhere at any time. And you get, within a moment or two, you can feel relief from the stress and anxiety. So if you'd like to do this along with me, you're more than welcome to. This technique works the same way as acupuncture and the balancing of the mind and body. And we're going to be putting pressure on the nostrils, okay? So the first one we're going to do is put the nostril on, or the index finger on the right nostril. And we're going to take a nice slow breath in. Now, if any of you are having any like stuffiness or anything like this, this might not be the technique for you today, but you can keep it in your thoughts or write it down. And we take a nice slow breath in. Then we take the index finger and put it over on the left nostril and breathe out through the right. Then we breathe in through the right. We take the index finger over the right nostril and breathe out through the left. Breathe in from the left. Bring your finger over the left. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in from the right. Bring your finger over the right nostril and breathe out the left. Okay. Now you can do this for a minute or two, whatever it takes. But you can, I don't know if any of you feel it already, but you can feel a sense of coming down a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more relaxed. Okay. So it's very effective, 2 minutes or less. Okay. Bring it down. Now, if you're really charged up, it may take a little bit longer. However, it's such an amazing technique. I mean, it's crazy. We're going to do another technique towards the end that is even more relaxing than this one, but I decided to put it towards the end so that everybody can like participate, because it is really truly relaxing. And so yeah, we'll save the gamma breath work for the end of the session. So now, if you felt better right then and there, then you can look at your scale of what you scaled yourself and then write down, I'm feeling a little bit better now. So now instead of a 6, I'm down to a 4 or what have you, okay? And then, so the goal is to get down to a 1 with any of these techniques. And again, writing them down before you do any of them and then checking back in with yourself afterwards is very powerful, because then you know it works for you. Okay, you just know. All right. Now, the next one is listening to feel-good music. So when we listen to music that is upbeat, so something that not necessarily something that brings back memories or anything like that, although some people just love it because if it brings back really good memories, why not, right? So, but we're thinking of upbeat music, or we're thinking of music that is danceable, where you get a little shake and the spin going on. And bringing that in. Now, singing also is incredible for releasing endorphins, using that throat chakra, using your voice, and singing is a great way to relieve stress as well, and anxiety. So yeah, cranking up the tunes is a great way of releasing. The next one is taking a walk. So let's say you're stressed out, if something comes up and you had a stressful phone call or something, picking yourself up, if you're able, and walking around the block for 5 minutes gives you many benefits, one of which you get fresh air. 2, you get to clear your head and actually may come up with a solution to whatever the problem is when you take an opportunity to walk the body. When we're walking or moving our body, dancing, doing any of that type of thing, we're actually releasing a lot of stuck energy. And so it's important that we pay attention to our physical bodies as a form of stress management as well. So we're walking, and then you also get physical activity when you're walking around the block. So it works wonders. Just taking a 5-minute walk around the block. I need to get some air. Go for it. Go get that air. Okay, the next one is give yourself a hand massage. So this is one of the acupressure ones that I was talking about earlier, where we're combining Chinese pressure points, meridians. We can also work with the chakras if we'd like to. Oh, right, exactly. So giving yourself a hand massage, you can put a little bit of lotion on if you want or not. And there's certain trigger points, or rather pressure points, shall I say, that are very effective for bringing down the stressing anxiety and bringing yourself back into a place of balance and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where we want to be all the time. One of them is to take your hand, and right where your hand creases with your wrist, do 3 fingers beneath the hand where it creases, and then right in the center of the wrist there, just right there, you just want to apply pressure for about 30 seconds and breathe. Okay, so 3 fingers down, right underneath the 3-finger point. This is a big point right here. For about 30 seconds. You don't have to crank on the pressure. It can just be gentle pressure. You can even do circles if you want, like moving it around a little bit. Okay. And then we go to the other side. 3 fingers down, right in between, right there. And we spend about 30 seconds there. Okay, and you want to focus on the breath. Now, another pressure point, and we'll just go through these quickly, we won't spend too much time on them, is the earlobes, right up here at the top of the earlobes, right up at the top where that cartilage is. A lot of people have earrings up in that area these days, okay? Just wiggling those around, get a little pressure on them. That will assist. Another technique is just taking your forefinger right into the center between your eyebrows, gentle, very gentle on that area, just like putting it there, like my finger to my forehead. And breathing, giving yourself a minute or two to breathe. Okay, you're breathing and you're putting pressure on that particular point. Okay. And then lastly, one that also relieves headaches, which is great too, is right in between your index finger and your thumb, that little area that you just kind of pinch it a little bit with your thumb and your forefinger. Kind of pinch it ever gently, and if it hurts when you hit it, then you want to just be gentle with it and just kind of rub it and then do it to the other side. Okay. This is really great for if you have any headaches or tension. If you get tension headaches when you're feeling stressed, that's a really, really good pressure point to hit. Now, these are non-invasive methods of relieving physical and psychological symptoms that we just went through. Okay? All right. You can just shake your hands and then go about your day. So the next one is, I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. The next one is finding the sun. So if we can walk outside, the sun has been known to really help people that have depression, and it will certainly be an effective treatment for anxiety symptoms as well. So getting outside, bringing the sun in, or lightening your house with opening the shades up, bringing the sun in. Okay, a lot of people when they're stressed and anxious, and believe me, I'm a pro at that, say, no, I just want to hide under the covers and that's it. Yeah, if you really want to help yourself and you don't want to stay there very long, okay? Remember, we're all triggered. We have triggers in our life. External, there's a lot going on in the world. We also have triggers from childhood all the way through our lives, stuff that goes on subconsciously that requires some healing. And if we're not completely healed and stuff, then we're going to be triggered. Okay. And the question is, how long do you want to stay there? How long do you want to stay in that place? All right. So find the sun. The next one is, I really like this one. And it's kind of like a psychological game that you're playing with yourself, but you count backwards from 10. Okay, so I'm having anxiety, I feel it, I've done some breath work, and I want to continue doing something to bring it all the way down to a 1. So I'm going to count back from 10. So we count back, you can close your eyes, you can breathe, and just do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we want to count back up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, the reason this is such an effective method is because if you're concentrating on what the next number is going to be, you're not thinking about what created the anxiety and the stress in the first place. You're focusing on what the next number is. Okay, so it's kind of like a little mind game, but it's very effective. And I'd love to hear if any of you have done that in the past and how effective it's been for you. Also, at the end, if there's one that jumps out at you more than the other, then you can share that as well, because I'd love to hear, I'm sure everyone would love to hear what one you're going to work with. The next one is stretch. So again, back to the physical body. When let's say we're sitting at a computer all day long and we starts feeling anxiety or stress, okay? Simply stretching. And one of the big ones is stretching the shoulders. And one of them is opening up the chest. So pulling your chest out like a gorilla or whatever. All right, pulling the chest out and back in. Okay, stretching, getting up, moving your body around, moving your neck around. Okay. And so on that line. Stretching. Now, I wanted to show you, this is part of what I do when I'm doing energy healing, is I ground myself. And Nicole mentioned grounding in the beginning, and that is something that when we research what grounding is and we actually do grounding techniques throughout our day, we can minimize the amount of times we're going to get triggered with anxiety and stress, because we're grounded, we're feeling comfortable. Okay, therefore that phone call from the niece is not going to bother you as much. It'd be like, whatever, you do you, I'll do me, that kind of thing. So I'm going to show this to you now. Not everyone's going to be able to do all of these techniques, but this one is one that I do prior to doing any energy healing, or so I did it prior to this session today. So I was feeling a little tired and I needed to bring in my energy, call in my energy. And so I did this just a few moments ago, actually. Okay, so what it is when you're standing, you want to take your hands up, and you don't need to do this now. Or you can if you wish. You take your hands up and you're visualizing or imagining a white stream of light coming right down into your energy field or into the crown of your head, okay? And you're also seeing like a ball of light up here, okay? Now, as you're opening up your hands, you're actually connecting with your aura, which is the outside field that holds all your energy in, your auric field. And you're visualizing white light coming through your hands into this entire field. So you're actually bringing white light down into your head. It's all here too, everywhere you go. It's all around, right? So you're just bringing that white light that's coming from above, from source energy, right down into your energy field. It's coming out of your hands, and it's filling your entire egg around you, okay? And as you're doing that, you're saying, I am grounding my energy. I'm releasing anything that's not serving me. You're just bringing that white light in, out your hands, all the way down, all the way down. I'm grounding myself into the earth and releasing any energy that doesn't serve me. And then even if you have to bend down or go down on your knees, and as I said, this is going to be for everybody. And then you get all the way down to Mother Earth, to the ground, okay? And then at that point, you visualize roots coming out of your feet and your hands going into the earth. You're breathing this entire time. It's a very, very quick, effective way for getting out of anxiety. It's a very quick, effective way for grounding your energy into the earth and releasing what's not serving you any longer. So up, around, down. And then you come back up. Take a deep breath, and you're good to go. Okay, so that's another way to, we can call it a stretch. It's actually bringing your own light, bringing your energy, and bringing more energy from source energy into your energy field. Okay. Okay. The next one is rubbing your feet over a tennis ball or a golf ball. So this has, this is commonly known as reflexology, but it can also be in the acupressure family. But again, we're hitting certain pressure points that are in our feet that will break up stuck energy and provide us some relief. So when you're moving your foot, you're just gently moving your foot over the ball, or if you're flexible, you can bring your foot up and do it with your hands. Now, what I do is in the morning, before I even get out of bed, I just gently massage my feet, okay? Any areas that I feel a little discomfort, I'll spend a little bit more time on, put some light pressure on it, and breathe. It's a great way to start the day. If you can do that, either with a tennis ball, a golf ball, or with your own hands, okay? It's a great way to start the day and balance your energy out, okay? So you're actually gently massaging your feet, and I'd show you my feet, but it's okay. All right, so that's great for de-stressing and balancing your system, okay? All right. And I love doing it in the morning, honestly. It's amazing. Okay, so the next one is, this is a little more technical, and this is a psychoanalytical term. It's called EMDR. It's called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a long one, okay? And what it is, it's a psychotherapy technique that's been successful in the treatment of those that have mental challenges, bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, okay, like real intense anxiety. So we can also use it for the lighter exercises that EMDR, that the whole methodology brings forth for relieving anxiety quickly, stress, okay? If you read into EMDR, you will find that it has been very successful in assisting those with chronic or the hardcore mental challenges. And so when we're using the technique on like the, I don't want to say the beginner techniques, but ones that are more focused on relieving anxiety and stress, they're very effective. It's extremely effective. So I'm going to do a light exercise in EMDR with you. And the first one has nothing to do with the eye movements other than you're just focusing forward, and you take one hand over the other. This is called the butterfly method. These are the wings, and these are the, whatever, the eyes, and you just interlock your thumbs, okay? And you not simultaneously, one after the other, just tap on these areas, okay? Just gently. This is actually your lung meridians that we're tapping on. You're taking a nice breath in. And it does fall under EMDR, but some would probably argue that it could fall under emotional freedom technique tapping as well, because you are tapping on different meridians. Do this and just breathe. Okay. Back to center again. Nice breath. And remember, you're always rating first before I begin any techniques. I'm going to rate my anxiety and stress 1 to 10, and then I'm going to do it again afterwards. Okay. Now, the next one is, this one's definitely eye oriented. And what we do is we keep our face forward, okay, but we turn our eye to the right and up. So you're looking to the right and up at the ceiling, okay? And while you're doing that, you want to visualize or imagine light coming into the crown of your head. You want to think positive thoughts. I'm taking good care of myself. I'm doing techniques to assist in getting rid of this anxiety, and it's flowing right out of me, and light's coming into the crown of my head. And you want to keep that going for about 30 to 45 seconds. So you might feel a sigh of relief. You'll feel like a little movement of the anxiety moving out of your body. And then you want to turn your eye to the left and up and focus another 30 to 45 seconds, or whenever you start feeling relief. And you're bringing in that white light. You bring it, allowing your body to relax. So you're focusing your eyes. And the EMDR is all about eye movement, and it helps soothe the brain, balance, and such, okay? So that's another technique that we can do. Now, the next one is being alone for 5 minutes, okay? Some of us are alone most of the time. And so this may not apply, but for some of us that are not, and we have people around us a lot, taking that time to just be alone for 5 minutes and breathe, okay? Don't have the TV on, not anything, just sit with yourself, okay? And allow yourself to breathe. Another technique is to organize your things. So there's sayings out there like a cluttered house is a cluttered mind, or an organized house is an organized mind. Okay, so if you've got a lot of clutter and you're feeling anxious about it, then no more procrastinating, because that leads to more suffering, and we want to get out of that. Remember, how long do you want to stay there? How long do you want to stay there? So let it go. Get yourself organized. If you've been thinking about, I really got to get that budget for 2022 together, blah, 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 I'm just procrastinating it. You are creating stress and anxiety in your energy field and in your body. So let's cut that and take care of business, okay? The next one is yoga. For those of you that participate in yoga, you know that this is a great way to relieve stress and anxiety, and to also exercise your body, which is amazing. And so it's a very good relief. I personally walk, okay? I walk for that type of physical activity, but I also do YouTube yogic positions. I do a little Qigong out on YouTube. Like I'll put in a 15-minute Qigong exercise, and I'll do Qigong energy work with the Kung Fu master that's there. Or I will do full range of motion, because as we're aging, it's really important that we still maintain flexibility in our bodies. And so if you look up on YouTube, free range of motion, 5 minutes, okay? Do 5 minutes of it, whatever. And then you'll see some exercise come up, and somebody will be sitting there helping you do your free range of motion exercises. So moving the body again. Meditation is great. Now, when we're anxious and stressed out, how often can we sit down and meditate? Not that often. However, if we can be preemptive, okay, like rubbing the feet in the morning or saying a prayer in the morning, doing a little exercise and stretching in the morning, if those types of things. If we can be preemptive, we can minimize the amount of time we will be in anxiety and stress. Okay, so meditate. There are a lot of different applications you can get on your phone. Insight Timer comes to mind right off the bat. I believe it's still free. And there's also guided meditations all over YouTube. So you can guided meditation, go to the clouds, or guided meditation on the ocean, or whatever. And you'll listen to somebody's soothing voice and just allow your mind to go with that and just breathe. Meditation is not about stopping your thoughts. It's about being okay with them. Okay, and being able to focus on something else for a few minutes. That's it. It's not a science. It's just well, maybe it is, but it is a beautiful form of relaxing the mind and the body. Okay. Next one is cuddling with a pet or a stuffed animal. So having something to cuddle, just something warm. I have a big bear. My son said, everybody should own a bear, a stuffed animal bear. He said this following he trades stock, and Build-A-Bear came up. And so he was just like, everybody should have a bear. And I agree with him. And so my daughter bought me a bear, which I travel with. And it's really nice to have my bear in my tent with me, or in my Airbnb or hotel. Wherever I am, I have my bear, and it's just nice to cuddle. So whether you have a stuffed animal or a real animal that you can spend time with, that is another great way to relieve anxiety and stress. Another one is chewing a piece of gum. If you're a gum chewer, that actually lowers cortisol levels. So chewing a piece of gum, isn't that amazing, right? Who would have thought that will help that anxiety, bringing the anxiety down. Another one is sipping green tea. There is in green tea is a source of L-theanine, which is a chemical that helps us relieve anger and stress. So sipping on some green tea will help bring you back into a state of balance as well. And speaking about tea, water. So one thing I discovered a long time ago when I started first having anxiety, and I had a very stressful corporate job as well, was water, hydrating. Whenever I felt anxiety coming on, I took a minute to breathe and drink my water, drink the water, and hydrate the cells. I have studied Dr. Emoto from Japan, who has done tons of studies on water. And one of the things I learned from his studies is that water has memory. Okay, so if you take your bottle of water and you talk to it, I know this might be one of those, what? You talk to it. I am beautiful. I am safe. I am loved, I am healthy, I am healing, I am grateful. I'm grateful for this day. And then you drink the water. The water actually has cellular memory that then takes it to all cells in your body. Okay, so when we're being nice to ourselves and talking to our water, I love myself, I'm grateful, then that's going throughout your entire energy field and your body. Okay. The next one is creating a Zen zone. So a space in your house, like it could be a little bay window with some pillows and a little book or a candle, or the man cave, or wherever you can go and have your things and be at peace. So having just a little place, could be a rocking chair, in the corner of a room, just a place where you can go and have a few moments to relax and disappear from the world for a little bit. Just no TV, just relax. Okay. Now, I know I'm going through a lot of methods here, so whichever one's resonating with you, just pick whichever. Another one is to drip cold water on your wrists and your earlobes. Okay. There's major arteries in these areas, and by placing cool water on them, it actually is a way of soothing and calming down your body. Okay, so dripping cold water on your wrists. The next one is writing it down. Okay, so we've talked a lot before about journaling and the benefits of journaling. And there are so many benefits of journaling. So if somebody, let's say you have a relationship that's not going so well right now, and you don't have an opportunity to speak with the person, or you don't feel it like it's the right time, but you're feeling a lot of holding in a lot, okay, like really gripping yourself. Writing it down is going to be an amazing way to release it, because you're actually speaking it as you're writing, okay? It doesn't mean you're going to send that letter to them. It doesn't mean that you're going to do anything. You could actually burn the letter or burn the papers afterwards, but you've had the opportunity to vent, okay? Now, one of our famous psychoanalyst and psychiatrist, Dr. Carl Jung, he's a Swiss psychoanalyst, psychiatrist, and his philosophy, let's say, or approach has been very widely used recently, said this: you can cure a psychotic patient if you make him creative. In other words, what is destroying him from within can be brought forth in writing or painting or some other form, then he can be cured. What we try to do is to help people bring forth the self. So if we can cure people from psychosis through writing, imagine what you can do and how quickly you can do it with releasing anxiety and stress, okay? So you can utilize this tool as a great tool for releasing anxiety and stress, as well as healing if you have any other emotional or mental challenges. Writing is super, super good technique. The next one is talking to a friend, trusted friend, mentor, trusted family member, psychologist, your support system, okay? So whoever that person might be, also having that opportunity to vent. It is said that people that are talkative are happier people. Why? Because they don't hold stuff in. When we internalize, it does get stuck in our energy fields, okay? That's why it's so important that we move the body, that we use these pressure points, that we massage, we take good care of this body, exercise it. It's very important because we're holding in a lot of energy that's stored up. Okay, so we want to release that. Then the next one is EFT, which is Chinese acupuncture mixed with modern psychology. Emotional freedom technique tapping helps the client relax. Okay, helps us relieve negative emotions. It actually helps us reprogram our subconscious mind. So it has so many intense benefits, and it is a method of tapping on particular meridian points, okay? We did do a session on EFT tapping, I don't know, a few months ago, and I think it's posted on the My Health Angel website that you can listen to. But what it does is it releases serotonin, neuropeptides, and balances the neurotransmitters. It takes us out of that state of fear, anxiety, stress, and brings us into our parasympathetic nervous system. So it takes us out of sympathetic nervous system and brings us into parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming, relaxing. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight, the cortisol, the norepinephrine, all that stuff's flowing. We need to calm that stuff down, okay? And all these techniques have the ability to do just that. Now, the tapping technique, which we went over before, so if you were on that call and previously, if not, again, you can watch that episode, or we can do one right now. And what we're going to do, I'm not going to put any words to it initially, so we're going to do one round without it. And what we're going to do is tap on certain points. And if you go out on YouTube to learn more about emotional freedom technique, you might find that some practitioners tap in different areas, okay? And that's all well and good. You go with whatever feels good to you, okay? The one that we're going to go over today is the one that I use with myself and anyone that I'm working with. And so this is what we do. First, we begin by tapping on, doing like a little karate chop tap. And the whole while you're breathing, okay? And you're releasing anything that's not serving you. And if you want to say something initially around anxiety, it could be, even though I'm anxious, I love and respect myself. If you do not feel right off the bat that you love and respect yourself, and you could say something like, because you want it to be a true term, one that resonates with you, you could say something like, even though I'm anxious, I want to respect myself. Or even though I'm anxious, I accept myself. Okay? You could start with something like that. Then you go to the top of the head, and we're tapping about 7 to 10 times. Even though I'm anxious, I accept myself. Okay, then we do the eyebrows. I'm going to take my glasses off. We do the eyebrows. And you don't need to put words to it if you don't want. Just hitting these different points is going to reduce the anxiety and the stress. Then to the outside of the eyes. Make sure you're breathing. Then under the eyes. Under the nose. Under the right in the little, under the lips, in that, the chin area where that little gap is. You go to the collarbone. Under the arm, about 4 inches down. And it doesn't matter what side. Okay. You can go underneath your ribs. Nice liver meridian there. And then your wrists. Even though I'm anxious, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm anxious, I'm releasing anything that's not serving me. Even though I'm anxious, I accept myself for who I am. I accept myself where I am. I know we are on time. I know everything comes in divine timing. Whatever comes to mind, you're just tapping and releasing, right? That's a very effective way of bringing down, well, first of all, releasing the serotonin and the GABA and the dopamine, and coming back down into a place of balance. And remember, always 1 to 10 first, and go, how am I feeling now? Okay, I'm down to a 4. Then I'm going to do some more tapping, do another sequence of it until I get down to a 1. Okay. Now, this next one that we're going to do, this is the gamma breath work. This is really, really, really effective. Okay. And I haven't met anybody that hasn't found great relief from doing this exercise. Okay. And it only takes a minute. So if you'd like to do it along with me, and it is breath work. And again, if you have a stuffy nose today, you can just put this to memory and give it a try, or look up gamma breath work on YouTube. Okay, and there's going to be videos taking you through the whole thing. Okay, So first thing, we want to put our hands together at heart center. And we want to take a nice slow breath in through the mouth and out through the mouth. In through the mouth and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the mouth. And out through the mouth. So that's one sequence. If you do a few rounds of this, you may find yourself getting a little lightheaded. Okay, so if you're okay with that, that's great. If not, then you might want to temper it down a little bit and do it a little slower, because it's so effective for balancing and working on the brain and soothing the brain that sometimes it like almost takes you, into just this place of total relax. Okay, so we can do another round of this. Okay, and then you can check where am I on the scale of 1 to 10, blah blah blah, and then until you get down to a 1. All right, so let's do again. In mouth, out mouth, in mouth, out nose. In nose, out nose. In nose, out mouth. In mouth, out mouth. And let's all just sit for a moment. Observe how you feel. There's generally a lightness of thought, lightness in the body and the energy field. Okay. So that's gamma breathwork sequence. It relieves anxiety and amplifies us into a neutral perspective. So if you have a decision to make and you're kind of anxious about it, if you do this gamma breathwork sequence before you try to make a decision, it will absolutely help balance and give you clarity, okay, before making any decision. Breath work is awesome. It's an awesome method. Right? Now, for some of us, one of the main reasons of anxiety and stress, and maybe this is for the majority of humans, maybe it's even more, more than I think, but is because we're not always feeling safe in our body. Like we feel in some way we're in danger. And that's where the ego mind or the subconscious triggers that we've gained through childhood or through past experiences that were not happy experiences get formed, and then they get into our subconscious mind and such. Okay, so and I do this in the morning at times and throughout the day. If at any time I start feeling anxious, I put my hands at my heart center, then I take a breath and I say, I am safe. I am safe. Okay. A lot of times when we're in that fight or flight, or we're in a stress mode, and the cortisol is pumping through our bodies, we don't always feel safe. It's not that there's imminent danger, like a lion approaching us, or that we are in a place where we are in danger, but we can feel like we don't know why we feel unsafe, but we do. So if we're saying, you're literally telling yourself, or that version of yourself, some people have referred to it as your inner child, the wounded child. A psychologist and psychotherapist by the name of, I think she might be a psychiatrist, Nicole LaPera. She says that that adults are wounded children. Okay, we're just grown up wounded children. So we still have that desire to feel safe. Everyone wants to feel safe within their self, within their environment, within who they are. Okay, so you can place your hands at heart center. Take a breath. I am safe. I am loved. I am healthy. I am healing. I am grateful. I am safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. Okay. That will help bring down the anxiety and the stressors as well. Now, I found this cool quote, so to close up, and this kind of resonates with the fact that, and it's interesting because I also pulled a card that I'd like to read as well, that throughout our lives, we're typically our biggest critic. And because of that, we create a lot of this anxiety and stress on ourselves. Okay, it's not because something external is stressing us out, it's something within us that is creating that. So I'm going to read this to you because I think it's so beautiful. I saw it on Instagram the other day and I immediately resonated with it for myself. So it says, "You are so hard on yourself. Take a moment, sit back, marvel at your life, at the grief that softened you, at the heartache that wizened you, at the suffering that strengthened you. Despite everything, you still grow. Be proud of this." Okay, just be proud of this. Look where we are today. We're all here today sharing this beautiful community of My Health Angel together, and we're all continually growing. We're growing, all right? And now, interestingly enough, and I didn't realize it just now, so the card that I pulled for today is called A Sea of Blessings, and it's got this beautiful background. We'll make a copy of this and send it off. The universe is a projection from within you. So a lot of things we create on our own, okay? And you are a projection of the universe. You are a vast space, and yet you are spaceless. You are a divine ocean of love, a sea of blessings. You are the wind of change that flows through life. So we're growing all the time, and we need to give ourselves credit for this, okay? This is really important because, again, a lot of the stuff that we bring forward is stuff that we're creating anxiety in ourselves. So what are we going to do about that? We're going to choose the healing route, the growing route, the changing route. We're going to do some of these techniques that help get us out of that space quicker so we can get on with enjoying our life.